Okay, good morning everybody. Today we're going to talk about the jet spindle, orbital spindle sander. Orbital because the spindle goes up and down and it rotates. For your knowledge, it rotates clockwise. Even though this is about equipment, I will give you 1 or 2 pointers on sanding when we get to it. Okay. First thing, when you approach the machine, this is considered the front of the machine where the switch is. This is the side, this is the side, this is the back. You cannot work this machine from this side or from the rear. You must do it from the front or the side. When the table is flat, you can go from either the front or the side. Okay, so you approach the machine, you take a look at it, make sure it's in good order before you start using it. Check the spindle diameter. The rule is, and you follow the storyboard as you do with every other machine, the rule is that the spindle you're using be no larger than half the diameter of the hole. So you're going to approach the machine and make sure you have the right spindle. If the right spindle is not on there, you change the spindle, and that's what we're going to do right now. Okay, so at this point, I'm ready to use the machine. I'm ready to change the spindle. I'm measuring it. I have 1.25 inch hole, so therefore my spindle has to be no larger than 1/2 inch. Therefore a 5/8 inch or under. I can use a 1/4 inch spindle. I can't use a 3/4. We have 10 spindles, 10 different dimensions, so I'm going to pick one that looks appropriate here. I'm going to measure it. This one is 1/2 inch. This one is 3/4. This one is too large. The 1/2 inch works fine. And I'm going to change the spindle. We have throat plates on this machine. There are different kinds. They are kept down here. You notice that some of them have round centers and some of them have oblong or oval centers.
Separate them.
And I'll show you those in a few minutes. So I need to remove the throat plate. Step number 1 is I can either remove the bellows here, which is held on with Velcro, and stick my hand up through and push the throat plate up, or I can use the wrench, which has a magnet on it, and pick it up with the magnet. And gently remove it. I don't want to rub up.
Go.
Okay, as you can see, there's a pin here, or a plunger with a red dot on it. That is a spindle lock. I'm going to do it from the top. Normally you won't be able to do it from overhead. I'm doing it just for this video. You'll press that in and spin the spindle until it locks in. And you'll know the spindle won't move and you'll feel it press in. That means that you are now locking the spindle, ready to loosen the nut. Up against the sandpaper. Okay, so to remove it, you're not going to be doing it from the top. You're going to be doing it from underneath, and it does get a little tight in there. So you're going to hold the pin in, take the wrench, put it on, and loosen it. When it's loose enough, you can use your fingers to turn it. Remove the old spindle, insert the new spindle, and you're going to reverse the steps. You're going to tighten it back up with your fingers and snug it up. The object is not to kill this thing with strength. Remember, these are all metal parts, and as metal heats, it expands and tightens itself. So we're going to snug it up, then release the pin, and make sure it is released by actually physically turning the spindle. Okay, put the wrench back where you got it from, since it does have a magnet. It'll stay on the cabinet. Pick the correct size throat plate. And you notice on the throat plate there's a notch, and there's a pin here. Make sure you go on properly. Make sure you're seated well. Put the others back. Now you're ready to use the machine. Okay, oh, excuse me, gotta put the bellows back. Okay. Just a quick sanding tip. You know, you learned all this already. Your sanding is, since this machine is going in a clockwise direction, you're going to sand counterclockwise. Since this is going in this direction, you're going to pull your material from left to right. When you do the inside, make sure the machine is off. Set your workpiece over it. Make sure you're centered. Hold the piece, and then you'll turn the machine on. Now, a note for this machine, I'm not going to turn it on and run it, but I will tell you, you must press the bottom of the green button and press hard. This is not a soft switch. If you press the top, nothing will happen. So again, to repeat, press the bottom and press hard. Hold on the piece because we don't want vibration if you have your hands off it to hit the spindle. Once it's going, again, you're going to go in the counterclockwise direction on this. When you're done, you will again do the same thing. You'll move your piece to where the spindle is in the middle, hold it, press the stop button. When the spindle has come to a complete stop, that's when you remove your workpiece. Okay, at this point you're done sanding, but what if you have something that you must sand on a bevel? Okay, there are a few different steps to this. Number one, we're going to remove the front baffle or bellows, and the same thing with the back one. They are held on with Velcro. On the front of the machine there is one series of Velcro or hook and loop. On the back side there are two. You want to take a shot at that, can you?
Okay.
You ready?
I gotta get lower. Okay.
Okay, even though there is an angle indicator on here, always use an angle cube to make sure you're angled. Okay, that's a common practice with any tool you use in the shop. Okay, to return this back to 90 degrees, and it is your responsibility to turn it back for the next user. Going to loosen the two pins, or the two knobs here, bring it back, and we're going to return that locking pin. When we're in position, we're good to go.
Go.
Okay, as you can see the locking pin, you must pull it out, it is spring loaded, and turn it, and then put it back in. Okay, the bellows, when you're done with your angle, you go back to that 90-degree setting, put it to the upper position, and you're now ready for the next.